right, so what's up, everybody? This is Ruben Garcia, and this is a beautiful day. And today on the Proven by Ruben podcast, we have Bertie's Retro Boutique. Hey, how are you?
Good. Thank you. How are you?
I'm doing amazing. So if you could, tell everyone who you are, what you do, how you do it, and all that good jazz.
Okay. Well, my full name's Bertha Fernandez. I go by Bertie for short because it's Bertha. So
yeah, right.
But Bertie's Retro Boutique is my shop over in beautiful Haymount. It's a retro shop, but I still have some true vintage and then some more recent, like recreated outfits also. So
cool.
A little bit of everything. And then I also sew. So I also do my own private line, and then I do the pinup photography too.
Holy moly, you got a lot going on.
It's fun. It all kind of goes together though really, really well.
True.
So it meshes together. So
yeah,
it's not bad.
So where did all this start for you?
My love of costumes.
Where did that start?
Actually, when I was like in elementary is what I realized, because I was trying to like think back on where it kind of all started. My mom collects vintage stuff. She was born in 41, so she was raised in the 50s. So she was always telling me stories. And then I did like Mexican dancing when I was like all through elementary, and I was trying to figure out why I loved it so much, and it was because the costumes. I just wanted the costumes is what I mainly worked hard at, so I can get more and more costumes.
Yeah. So what is one of the costumes that stick out to you when you were younger? The one that just like glowed the most? Oh,
it was a white costume with hand-painted roses all over it.
Really?
And I love that one. I worked so hard to get that, and the white boots that came with it.
So these costumes end up being kind of a prize.
Yes, definitely. Because the better I got, then I got like the better costume. Yeah. The better costume.
What'd you have to do to get that dress, the one that glowed the most, the white one with the flowers?
I had to work really hard at the different dances, and I was always like the smallest one there. So like those little legs were like on fire all the time.
Lighten it up.
That's right.
Do you have an adult size one now?
No, I don't, but I've been looking at them. And since I sew, I'm like, I could just make my own now, be walking around.
Especially if you have your own line.
I know, yeah.
Just throw your logo on it.
Exactly.
So that's where it started. What happened next to kind of move into a little bit more of the retro world? And it sounds like you have a little bit of influence from your mom and being in the 40s and stuff like that.
She's definitely my biggest influence. We have the same name. So we kind of joke that, it's her shop, but because she has had so much of an influence on me when I was younger, I remember just kind of watching her put on makeup and, lick the tip and make it really sharp so she could really get that black eyeliner.
Right.
And I was just fascinated with that. The stories she would tell me. She still, of course, collects, like even now, like her house is immaculate, all her costumes and everything. So from there, when it was like, I guess, time for me to pick like college-wise and stuff like that, I went into costume.
Yeah.
So just because I like the history of it and why people dress the way they do, how it can totally change a person, the way they feel about themselves, the way they act. I mean, everything to me, like just clothing is very, very, very interesting. It says a lot about a person. Like you could tell, kind of what a person likes, the type of music, how they carry themselves, if they feel good about themselves that day. There's just so much I feel that you can take from it.
So I'm wearing like this boring green collared shirt with kind of brownish pants. I have green socks.
See, but look at your socks. Look how cool those socks are.
And brown shoes. Boring. So what am I giving off?
What are you? Oh my gosh, you want me to analyze it now? Oh my gosh.
What am I saying about myself?
But see, that's the thing. Like you can, if I wanted to, I could totally judge a book by its cover. Yeah. But your personality, bringing everything all together is it's the whole package.
Yeah.
And that's what I tell a lot of the girls that come in, because I know some girls want to just wear a nice dress once in a while, and they won't necessarily wear it like in the true vintage with the hair and everything. And then you get some girls who like, they live by it like day and night, their house, their car, everything.
Yeah.
So that's the beauty of vintage. Like it's just, what I love about it makes you feel good. And that's the important thing. So.
Yeah. So what about the vintage gets you excited about I guess the
history of it, where it came from, why, I mean, so many things were made by hand and they're still around. They still last. Like nowadays, I feel we buy clothes, we wear it a couple of times from like some of the chain stores and it has a hole or something. And what do? A lot of times they just throw it away or go donate it.
Right.
And I think the vintage stuff, it's lasted like a long time because it was handmade and it was because you needed to. If you absolutely needed a dress, guess what? Your mom would like make something if she had to do it by hand.
Right. So. And then correct me if I'm wrong, that's kind of why you are also into making your own, right? Instead of just buying it.
Exactly. And before I couldn't afford it, I would always shop like secondhand and stuff. And in order for the secondhand, because sometimes it doesn't fit just right, then you can take this apart, put this in this. And I think a lot of the people who are into the rockabilly culture and the vintage culture, they have to know how to sew just because it's part of it.
Right. That makes you authentic. Like,
yeah, it's so fun.
Do you ever think of some of the stuff that you're making today or this week or this month? Do you ever think of it while you're making it that this could one day be vintage?
I hope so. I hope somebody loves it as much as I do, because I try to put as much love into it and go that little extra mile by putting, the lining has to kind of match or contrast the inside of a skirt to make it really pop for a customer. So I try to put as much love as I feel that they did back in the days with it. So,
because that'd be super cool, right? If you fast forward years and years and years down the road, and what would that do for you if you saw one of the dresses that you made hanging up in an quote unquote antique shop or whatever that looks like down the line?
Be a nice little lady with cute little glasses, I hope. Looking in this.
Right. What would you drive up in? What would you, as you were pulling?
A 55 Chevy. That's what my dad's kind of fixing up right now. We wanted to do it together, but he's in Texas. I'm here, but.
What kind of Chevy? 55 Chevy.
Bel Air.
Yep. Those are beautiful cars.
Yeah, so that's definitely the car of my dreams. And because of that, like my mom and him shared that and stuff. So.
Yeah. So you mentioned that, it helps with people as they maybe come in, or when we're talking about clothes, that it changes the way they feel. Do you ever, as people come into your shop, downtown Fayetteville, as people come into your shop, do you break down what's important to them first before, like, does anybody ever come in like almost a consultant type thing, like, hey, I would like one of your dresses or something like that, and do you break down like what they're looking for, how are they looking to feel, like, do you have some
do a lot of times, I do ask like a few questions, like, if they have an event they're going to, or if they're just doing it for fun, or I ask them a few questions, but then I just kind of start joking with them, and from there I can kind of get their personality.
Right.
And some girls, they're really shy, but they do want to kind of come out of the box a little bit. And, other girls are just really shy. They just want something nice, conservative, just to make them feel good. So I kind of try to analyze them by asking a couple questions, talking with them. But I think the personality is a really big thing.
Yeah.
Because even when I take pictures, I kind of joke with them, make them feel comfortable, and bring out their personality. Like, if they're not really into being like super sexy in their pictures, I'm not going to do that.
Yeah.
So I think that's really important, because you're still true to yourself, but you're kind of putting yourself out there a little bit.
Right. Yeah. So what do you tell a girl who comes in and wants to just escape out of the box just a little bit? What is the one thing that you do to help them?
I tell them to start with accessories.
Yeah.
So something, just adding a little something to their wardrobe, whether it is like a bandana, a little flower, which seems so simple, but like some girls just putting a flower on your hair, it's like, oh, look, I feel pretty now.
Right.
Or even like red lipstick. Like, to me, like my lips are probably stained with red because I've been wearing it for so long. But even just wearing a lipstick that's a little more bold than what they're used to.
Yeah.
So just little things like that, and try to give them the confidence. We all start somewhere. It's just kind of a little thing of getting out, seeing how people react to it is a big deal for them too.
Yeah. And do they ever come back about a week later and just say what it's done for them, or?
Yes, sometimes even immediate. Like they'll message me right away on Facebook. So because it does garner a lot of attention when you do go out because I have like a group of girls that I call it Bertie's Bombshells. And even us just going out just for dinner, we have people coming to our table, showing us like their vintage cars that they had, or, oh, my grandma used to wear that, which sounds kind of funny, but like, you know, just little things like that, which is always nice. Or they'll even come and tell us like some story. So, it's kind of cool, which I love that. I love the interaction. I like that it makes people happy because it gives them good memories and good feelings inside. Yeah. So.
Right. You're bringing that to a lot of people's world. It's something that is kind of, not necessarily that they want to bury it, but it's buried in the, like if you guys go out to a restaurant, it's kind of buried in the conversation. Not something you're really thinking about, but when you guys walk in, it just is like, it just sprouts all those old memories. And they're like, oh, that's right. And then they come to your table and they talk. That's cool.
It really is fun. It's really cool. I mean, whether it's like the outfits or, like I said, like just something we're carrying, a little something in our hair or something like that, then they'll just kind of start a conversation.
Yeah, yeah. So you said you got a group of girls called the Bertie's Bombshells? Mm-hmm. Where'd you find them? How did that thing form?
It just kind of formed out of, just fun, just like girls just kind of hanging out with each other. We're like, I think, a group of girls that I think every girl needs. Like somebody, like when you're feeling down, we're all there to help you, pick you up, because like everybody has like ups and downs.
Yeah.
And like, if something's not going right, we help each other out. And we take pictures together, we help. Some of us are really into it and we'll do it like just like it 24 hours a day. And then we have other girls that, they just want to feel good about themselves.
Right.
So it's just, we go to events. A lot of them are military wives and stuff. So we go to events that like cater to military or some sort of event. Like we just recently did, the veterans motorcycle like pinup contest, so we helped kind of put that together and cool. stuff. So, and they help raise money for different causes too. So
yeah. So how big is this group?
Right now we have about 6 girls.
Oh, gotcha. Okay.
So, and we try to keep it to a point where everybody kind of gets along, everybody's good, everybody helps each other in like all aspects, not just we just go out and they just okay, go look pretty and that's it.
Yeah. Is there another retro gang that you guys come in? Like, and y'all start snapping, like getting
well, we're still working on our
choreography.
Yeah. So.
It's like, there they go.
We do. We just got jackets too.
Yeah. That's awesome. So what does it take to, because I'm not pretty enough and I got a beard, so I don't think I'll make it. But what does it take to get to be able to enter the Bertie's Bombshells?
Well, what we do is it's mainly if it's volunteer. And so what we do is I put out, if the girls are interested, we have a form that you fill out. And there's just certain things like, certain like little rules. Like we don't want people to, if you're representing Bertie's, we don't want you to be, like mean to other girls, like just on purpose, or, just be yourself, but also the culture I feel is very important. And like the rockabilly culture, it's like 1950s kind of, I guess, feel, like whether you dress the way or what you wear and so forth. So
right.
It's mainly a group of girls that we want to all get along and that will bring other girls up. So I always do like the hashtag pinups, supporting pinups.
Right.
Because that to me is very important, whether you're a so-called true, quote unquote pinup or not, but just being positive with one another.
Yeah.
So that's my main thing, because I know that there's a lot of girls who just do it just for show. And, some of the girls, like, they don't feel so good about themselves some days, and some of us do. It just kind of all depends. And so we're all there just to kind of help each other, and not only through events, but, like, just in everyday life.
Right. And so you mentioned that old school culture, right? What do you think that now society's missing that you wish you can inject into our culture now that you think's missing from, I guess, what you got back in the 40s and the 50s and stuff like that? What do you think's missing?
I think it's just getting back to the basics. Like, I feel like now, I really honestly feel like everybody's always on their phone. And they're so into, oh my gosh, what is this person going to think? And I know that's just human nature, like what other people think. Like, I understand that. But I think just in general, just being out and really being like friends and knowing how to communicate. And yes, you'll have lows and highs, but it doesn't mean that's the end of your relationship or anything like that. Right. Just kind of like divorce in general nowadays. So I think people are so easy to kind of give up and not support each other.
Right.
So to me, that is a really big deal. And everybody, all the bombshells are like really into their family. You know, we try to go out even as a group, you know, if we had a picnic or something, just something that would kind of still bring us together, but it's still family oriented. Not like let's go out drinking for the weekend or anything like that. So
that's cool. I mean, the more you talk about this culture, right, I'm thinking like, well, how does so it sounds like it's family oriented. How does a man get involved? Like, is it their own culture of just like 3-piece, you know, looking really good, maybe the hat, but is there something
well,
like
the
that?
rockabilly culture, it's for everyone, guys, gotcha. Girls, older, younger, I mean, for different ethnicities, like all sorts of different people.
Yeah.
And so it's a subculture. Most of the guys are usually like into the cars. I mean, you can do like the cars, the music, the rockabilly music, which is like a mixture of like, I don't know you can do like the old fashioned music, like you can do like the 50s Elvis and Buddy Holly and stuff like that. Right. And there's different aspects, of course, of the music too. And nowadays, a lot of the pinup girls do have tattoos, but of course, obviously back then they didn't. And
right.
So there's division within that subculture too. Like there's girls who are true vintage. They will only wear vintage clothing 24 hours a day when they go to sleep, everything. And then there's like now like a lot of the more alternative pinup girls have like full tattoos and stuff. The guys, they can also, some of them we call them like greasers that like to work on their motorcycles, their cars, stuff like that. So and then like a lot of the older, of course, pinups and greasers now have kids, so they want to dress their kids in that style too. So
do the kids jump on board?
It's excited? So cute. Yes. It's very cute.
That's awesome. That's really cool. Isn't it kind of interesting that, you know, most of the pinup girls now do have a lot of tattoos, but back then that girl necessarily didn't.
It was frowned upon. My mom really dislikes it.
What do you think? What happened? Like,
I think the music influence, because I think rockabilly, there's like psychobilly, and there's like a lot of other aspects of the rockabilly. So the 50s culture, it just kind of attracts. Plus, you get the guys who are really into motorcycles and cars that they, you know, they like their women, I guess, with a little bit of tattoos and stuff. So I think it's evolving. So.
Gotcha. And you have tattoos.
I have a few.
I just noticed one.
Oh no! I hope it's not a bad
one. No. So this is the one I noticed.
I know.
No. Which one was your first tattoo?
My first was on my stomach.
And what is that?
It's a wedget eye, an Egyptian wedget eye.
And why?
Because I was into history, obviously. So I studied Egyptology, and they used to sew, women used to sew the wedget eye onto their aprons to protect their female parts. Gotcha.
So is it more of like an all-seeing eye thing? Mm-hmm. Gotcha. So what intrigued you about Egypt?
Everything, just the way... what they did, like when people would pass away, they don't necessarily look at it as negative.
Right.
And that's why, you know, even Day of the Dead stuff I think is fascinating because they don't look at it as a negative, bad thing. It's like they're just moving on. They're going on to their next life.
Right.
That, and even like the clothes, the first time they did the black coal eyeliner was Egypt. The linen, like there's a lot of things that I feel that we still use today that have evolved from Egypt.
Yeah.
So, and my daughter is named Isis, my first daughter. It's not the best name now, but at the time it was good. Well, if you know Egyptology, then it's like, oh, that's why she has that name, but
so I have a 240, and like I'm a car guy too. And there's a part on it. It was an Isis. This one's called Isis, and they've since changed their name
because of that. Exactly.
Yeah. So, what other influence do you think came from Egypt that you're seeing in your business?
In my business, or just in clothing in general?
I guess both, because your clothing is hung up in your business, correct? Or no?
Yes.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So, what have you pulled from there?
From Egypt?
Yeah.
I've never even thought about putting the two together. It's just my love for like I guess the bright colors and the detail that they put in stuff.
Yeah.
Because some of like the jewelry, like I love big gaudy jewelry. So like I feel that's where, they had the big collars and the big earrings and stuff like that. And I know like, especially in photo shoots, like I make sure they have like big, huge earrings and stuff. So but like that in general is probably, I think that's the thing I could think of offhand right away.
Yeah. Because you'll find that sometimes, some of the things that we go through as a young kid to where we're at now, in some way we can pull those tools out and apply it to our business somehow. So I was wondering, maybe you saw an influence that you were...
Yeah, I guess the jewelry, because that's what I first started making when I was like, oh, I love, like at the time, like I said, I didn't necessarily think I thought I loved the costume aspect of like the Mexican dancing and stuff. But as I got older, I remember in middle school going to the tracks and like taping the pennies so that the train could flatten them out. And then I'd make jewelry that now that I think of it, it looked very Egyptian because it was big collars and stuff. So
yeah, exactly.
So it kind of started my love of like, oh, look what I could do kind of thing. So
That's cool. So in your business now, what got you to talk to me about wanting to even start it? Like, what happened from idea to execution?
I was doing, I lived in Hawaii for like 16 years. I studied costume, got a degree in costume. So I was doing costume for a few of the theaters over there. Then I had a photographer actually contact me and say, would you mind doing the costumes and I'll take the pictures. And I was like, that sounds amazing. That sounds really fun. And it ended up evolving. I'm kind of a control freak on a lot of stuff. Good and bad, I guess. So I was like, oh, I don't like the way she takes that. Oh, I have to do it this way. This would be much better. And so from there it evolved. And, I grabbed a couple friends. Hey, let's try this. This will be kind of fun. And so it was the costume aspect that I loved from it. And then after a while, it kind of evolved to, I really enjoyed, I had women cry after they saw the pictures. Whoa. Even taking them like right then and there, I show them on the camera so that they know, like, because all of a sudden it's somebody that they don't know, like in their face taking pictures. Right. And so it was important for me to make them feel good, show them as we're going that I'm taking the pictures. And it went from there. It was just all word of mouth back home. Yeah. So from there, people started asking me, oh, where do you get these clothes? Where do you get these clothes? Oh, I've never worn a garter before. Show me how to use it. I showed them, different things like that. And from there, then I decided, oh, okay, they're asking me where they get this. I'm sending them over here. I'm sending them over there. Like, then I should be making that. Yep. So that's how it evolved. And so I just started ordering stuff, and slowly it started getting bigger and bigger, my inventory. Yeah. And all the ridiculous things that I had just collected over the years that were just in my house, I used for props and for decorating and stuff. So. Yeah.
So it sounded like you started building some inventory because there was a need, and you were tired of pushing them to other people. You
I know. I was like, wait a minute.
Yep.
Exactly.
So when did you decide to look into brick and mortar?
Well, I moved here specifically for that.
Oh, did you?
And I'm not military. Yes, I did choose.
Yeah.
Which most people are like, why?
Yeah.
But no, I chose here because, I'd say like 98% of the girls that I was taking in Hawaii they were military. Right. So they kind of already knew the culture. It wasn't something that I had to kind of explain. Right. Yeah. And then from there, doing the pinup photography, they were sending it to their husbands overseas. And so I had a lot of that. So I thought that this would be the perfect place. It's a large military base. A lot of the women do come in for photo shoots to send to their husbands. Yeah. So it's just like a nice little gift that they can take with them. We can make cards, like playing cards, lighters, like anything with the woman's picture. And it's so cool. Them, kind of all pinup, looks very retro, and it kind of goes also, because that's where like the pinup, the traditional 1950s, like that they did the nose art, is all from there.
Did you have any other places you were looking at besides Fayetteville?
Mm-hmm. I'm originally from Texas, from San Antonio, so I thought about there because I have my family there, and wow. I have other family in Chicago and stuff, but I figure Fayetteville's.
You have any family here?
I have my brother.
Oh,
yes.
Okay.
And he has a small business. His wife has a small business. So I thought, just surround myself with other people who are really positive, who know, the business lifestyle, because it is really a lifestyle that you have to get used to.
No doubt.
Yeah. So.
What small business do they own?
My brother has a Robertson sandwich shop over at the Utah Shopping Center.
Okay.
I heard the burgers are like crack, is what I'm told. I'm vegetarian, so I'm not sure, but
well, that's interesting.
But people love them. They get really upset because he's only open like for lunch. So
yeah.
So he has that, and then his wife's family owns nail shops.
Gotcha.
And so they were like one of the first ones. So they've gone through all the ups and downs of owning a nail shop, especially now that there's so many.
Right.
So it's nice sitting talking with them. She's from Vietnam, and I feel people from other places have a very different, very, very, I love strong work ethic compared to others that are, we're used to like, I'm hungry. We'll just go to the store real quick.
Yeah.
Like they actually had to like really work for their food,
right? Which
I love and I really admire.
Yeah, you have to, right?
Yeah. But I mean, like they're really like, it's cool. Like they'll get up at 4:00, being really, really young, and they'll work in their family business and go to school all day, come home, finish working some more. Like I really admire their, I guess, what they do.
Right, that work ethic.
Yeah, exactly.
Because you said that it takes some adjusting to get into the business mindset.
Mm-hmm.
What are some stuff that they may have taught you, or advice that you're appreciative that they've given you, that has really helped you grow your business?
There's so much. I just feel like just everything. I feel like you can learn something from everybody.
Yeah.
Like like even just anyone, like even people that don't have their business, like things maybe you don't want to do that from their point of view that they don't like that somebody's doing at their work. So I feel that you can learn from everybody. My brother specifically, he definitely, he bought the business from someone else. And so there was things that he just in general, he looked at everything as a whole and was like, okay, I don't want to do this. I want to do this. Like sometimes you just have to scale back. Like less is definitely more.
Yep.
And just his work ethic too. Like he wakes up really early in the morning. This is what he needs to do. And it's not like, oh no, I have to do this. It's just, you know what? It's just part of the way that he lives.
Yeah.
Which I really like.
Yeah. So have you adopted that, waking up early?
Mm-hmm. Which is really hard because I'm not a morning person. I love staying up until 3:00 in the morning because it's so quiet and I feel like I get a lot done. So I'm trying to still find like the happy medium between the two.
Yeah.
So I wake up in the morning now, 5:30, exercise, be done by 7, take her to school if I have to, just kind of depending. I work from 11 to 6 and then afterwards, spend a little bit of family time and then I still stay up late just because I really enjoy it. Yeah. So I do like my sewing or editing or anything that I have to do on the computer still. So
right, yeah. So is it just you working?
Right now, yes.
Okay.
But since I am lucky enough to have the group of the Pinup Bombshells, they help me out a lot too.
Awesome. Do they come in and volunteer, or is it a payroll thing, or?
No, they volunteer.
Cool.
They volunteer when I desperately want to be in 2 places and I can't, then
right.
I have to send somebody in for me, or just kind of depending on the situation. Or I have a girl, Minda, who's really good at networking, and so she helps me with that too. Because especially me having like my name, like Bertie, look, I feel really conceited. Oh, look, it's my name. So I'm like, oh my gosh. So that took some getting used to also. So, but I have different girls that are really good at different things and they're really good at helping me. So I get to delegate a little bit of that work too.
It's so cool that you're surrounded by people that want to help you out like that.
It really is. And that love it too. Like they really, really love it. They love like the vintage clothes. They get my whole, like, I guess, aspect of how I want things to run too.
Exactly. So they're going to naturally, and correct me if I'm wrong, they're going to hold your standard, like what you look for.
Yes.
Because it's what they love. Mm-hmm. That's really cool. How long have you been in business?
I've had the shop open for about a year and a few months. So last April 1st is when I opened up on April Fool's.
Wow. It's not a joke, guys.
I know.
It's awesome.
Well, I figure I try to pick like days that people are going to remember.
Yeah.
So that even like when I have big events, I try to pick days that I'm like, okay, they'll totally remember that. Like they won't have to be like, oh, what day was that? That's right. That's when it is. So
yeah, I
try to make sure to pick something that people will kind of keep in mind.
Do you like the downtown flavor?
I love Haymount.
Yeah.
I really do. And I feel...
do you live in Haymount?
Not anymore. No,
okay.
I moved out of Haymount just so she can have a yard and everything to kind of run around in. But I do go and like run around there. Like I feel really safe and I feel really good. Everybody's been really nice. Even when I opened up, like everybody was very welcoming over there.
Love it.
So it is very cool. And now that like some of the other shops that I opened, like it's been better. Like more different, diverse people are coming in too. So. And a lot of people live around there. Like, I get a lot of people that just walk to my shop. They're like, hey, you know, I've been meaning to come in. I live like a couple blocks. So it's nice. I get a lot of people just kind of coming in, you know, sometimes with their dogs, sometimes like, oh. So, not too shabby.
So why Haymount for you? What? Because it's kind of interesting that Haymount's got a vintage feel, right? Mm-hmm. Like, it's an older place. Mm-hmm. Why did you choose Haymount for your establishment?
I like the location. It's right under the Haymount Grill sign, which I think is, of course, iconic and everybody knows it. And I like the building.
Misspelled.
I know, exactly. There's a few different spellings.
Yeah.
Like I did cards, like little cards, and I took like a poll to see if people wanted me to spell the Haymount sign right, because it's like a caricature of of it, and they were like, no, you have to spell it wrong. You have to. And I'm like, okay, just making sure. Yep. So, I love the building too. From what I know, and like everybody I've been asking, it used to be an old grocery store, like in the 30s, is what I was told.
Oh, cool.
So I get like that too. I get like people that have just lived in the area for a really long time. They just come in, tell me history about the area, which I love. Yeah. And I've been trying to find pictures and photos of old Haymount so that I can put up in the shop, just because I like that feeling. That nostalgic feeling, and I think other people really appreciate it and enjoy it.
For sure.
So even though I'm not from here, like I really do have a love for Haymount. So
that's awesome. It's cool that you've had a few choices, and I think it says something about you too. You know, when you have a few choices to build your establishment, you have family, like a lot of family in Texas and some in Chicago. Mm-hmm. There was still something pulling you here to Fayetteville, and you chose it.
I know.
You chose it? No, I love that. I'm not saying anything else. And that you found like this nice little historic area to open up your shop. I think I don't know. I think it says something about you to kind of skip the comfort of your family to go somewhere to start something that you truly believed in, and it ended up being here. I think that's really cool.
And the culture, I feel, is also kind of moving. There's like a big show that they do in Vegas. It's called Viva Las Vegas.
Yeah.
And it's a full, big, huge. They've been doing it for, I think, about 18 years now.
Whoa.
And it's a big rockabilly show. They have all sorts of different bands for the whole weekend. They have car shows. They have a tiki pool party. They have like tons of things. And this will be the second year that they have a Viva East. And so they're slowly trying to bring it over to this area.
Yeah.
And so, and I did all my research. I kind of looked to see if there was other people in the area that did pinup photography, other people that owned like a retro boutiques or like anything like that too. Yeah. And there wasn't much in this area. So I thought that would be kind of fun and good to kind of spread the word. And like I said, a lot of military wives also do like the pinup photography.
Yeah.
And they appreciate it too. And a lot of them already know about it, because I think back in Hawaii, a lot of times I had to kind of explain to them what pinup was or what the culture was.
Oh, it's a little bit easier here.
Yeah, so it's a little easier too.
Yeah, yeah. And I mean, you got the tattoo culture here anyway.
Yes, definitely. You know? Yeah.
So I'm sure that helps.
Mm-hmm. No, it does. Like we've been doing the tattoo expo for the last 2 years and stuff. So
yeah.
Yeah, it's been really good, and just kind of spreading the word. People are getting to know that I'm here. They come in asking even for different, like even though we are thought of like as a 50s venue, like it's still like we get people just coming in just for 30s costumes, 40s, stuff like that. So
yeah, I think you would enjoy the pictures of my wedding. It was 1920s themed.
Oh, nice.
Yeah,
see?
Yeah.
And why did you pick 30s? Just because it's cool and it makes you feel good, right?
Oh, I love the 20s and 30s. And so my wife, she loves vintage. She's got a business called A Vintage Life.
Oh, nice.
Yeah,
that's
that's her gig.
Oh,
she
nice.
Loves vintage.
She sells at Leclerc's.
She does.
Yes, I know exactly what you're talking about.
Yep. That's her stuff. She used to have a little spot that she sold vintage stuff in. But that was it was a drive, and we decided to just kind of, or she really decided to put more of her stuff in stores. But yeah, I think you'd get a kick out of.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's good that both of you too like it, which I think is really important.
It's kind of funny because I like the cars.
Yeah.
Right? Like what you said.
Exactly, right?
I'm like, you don't find style like that, man.
I know. It's like the sleekness and that smell too, right when you turn it on. It's like everything together. Yep. I just love it.
Yep. And there's a story to be told. I mean, the way that they built those cars. See, I'm probably talking about cars like you talk about, like the clothes
exactly.
And
no, but exactly. But that's what I love about it. Like, just because the vintage stuff, it's just made so differently. Like you said, the history behind it. So just every aspect of it is just fascinating to me.
So are you going to bring that to our area, Viva Las Vegas, the more or that flavor or that venue? Or?
Yep, that's what I'm trying to do right now. We're doing like little events here and there. I'm kind of getting a feel for the people, what they want. I constantly am talking to people, asking them about, their opinion of this and that, or, even car shows and stuff.
How could people help you? Because I want to help. So what could people do to help get that here? Help you get that here?
Spread the word. And when we do have events, come to the events. It is really important.
Where can they find your events?
On Facebook, on Instagram, I'm always sharing events.
Gotcha.
Kind of letting people, even if it's not like here in Fayetteville, if there's stuff, in Raleigh or anywhere else, then I definitely share that. And we don't stay here in Fayetteville. Like a lot of the times we do commute and go to other places for if there's like a big rockabilly or car show or motorcycle show and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And there is a lot, especially coming up. Like there is a lot that we're planning to do too. And like I said, I always share on Facebook and Instagram where we're going to be, or where even if we're not going to be there, hey, this is going on. If you can, go support.
And so
go look
just
at the
that
nice
support
cars.
will end up. Yes. And that support will just start bringing, I guess, the influence.
Yes, and the just the knowledge to the people that were here or that people even enjoy it. Bring more events also.
Yeah.
That kind of go with the culture too.
I think it's a good time to do that because, like you said, if you're not seeing it, you're definitely feeling the shift in some of the stuff that we're bringing here to Fayetteville. And I think it's a perfect time to do something like that.
It is, and it's a lot of fun. People are definitely more open to it and stuff. Yeah. And so, no, I definitely feel that that's what it is.
Yeah.
Because I think people want that. They just they're so. I think it's hard, like I said, with the phones. Not that I dislike phones because obviously I use it a lot and I really need it. But I feel like just that connection with people, whether in different areas. So
yeah, no, that'd be cool. That'd be really good.
Yeah.
Do you see? And this kind of just jumping back to the business real quick. Do you see yourself hiring someone in the future? Like, do you see it starting to pick up so much so that you find that your time is going to be somewhere else or focusing more?
Oh yeah, definitely.
Do you have?
Because my brain's always going.
Yeah, no doubt. And sometimes you look at business owners and they want to do what you've done, really, or potential business owners, and they get bogged down in the world of business, and they can't necessarily be that creative person that they thought it was going to be. What do you tell someone that maybe in that mindset?
Really being organized has helped a lot, and it really is a big thing. It sounds like the boring side, I guess, of like owning a business, but you really do have to force yourself at first, and then after a while it just comes natural to do the creative side, and then you have to do the business side. Yeah. And then, like you said, as I'm slowly growing, especially being here not too long, deciding on what I do want to delegate. And more than likely that probably will be the boring stuff. But, at the same time, like, I don't know. So it just kind of depends on where I absolutely need it. Like, if I have to put my ego to the side and let somebody take this over this, and that's what I have to do.
Right. What do you see that to be?
As far as somebody taking something over?
Yeah. What would be that first thing that you would
probably the bookkeeping.
The bookkeeping? Mm-hmm. Do you have a CPA?
I do. Mm-hmm. I know.
So well,
I started because before, since I was only doing the photography, to me it was really easy. You know, it's cut and dry. Like, this is what's going to happen and that's it. But now that I have inventory, that was a whole new ball game for me. So I was like, oh yeah, I guess this little earring does make a big difference if I don't put it in inventory. So
right.
So you know, I had to just kind of be like, okay, so
how much time does that take, the bookkeeping inventory stuff?
Now it doesn't take that long because I'm organized. So now it's really easy. I take all my payments through QuickBooks, and even though, you know, at first it was a lot of time. Like, I was there for a very long time.
Right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
But now it's really easy. Everything's taken out automatically. I have all that. So now at the end of the day, I don't necessarily have paperwork that I do. Right. I just kind of look over everything, make sure everything was properly inputted, and make sure it was taken out of the correct inventory. And so it makes it a lot easier. Gotcha. Plus, I have one of the bombshells also helping me with that.
Yeah, true.
So that's really good. So Nikki Fox, she helps, you know, keep me in order on that. Yeah, exactly.
That's cool. That's cool because, you know, the time that you're going to get back, you could focus on your creative side and all that other.
It's definitely freed up a lot of my time because I would get stressed out and like, do I really want to do it tonight? Maybe I can wait until the next day to do, you know, paperwork. And so now I'm like, okay, I have that stress out of my head. I can move on to the next thing.
Has any of them raised their hand and said, listen, I want to be part of this thing and I don't mind being your, if you got to hire someone, I'd like to be the person you look at?
No, absolutely.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
So it's there. We're just kind of waiting until like everything kind of falls into place.
Sure.
And
yeah.
And then
I was just going to say for the listeners, you know, what would they have to do if you were looking for someone? How would they get in touch with you? But if you already have a bench, basically, of people who are like,
exactly.
Hey,
I know.
You know, I love this thing.
It's really nice too. I feel so honored. It's very, because they, like you said, they believe in it as much as I do, which is very, very comforting. And
did you see your business growing to the level that it's at now before you came over?
Actually, yes.
Yeah.
And even bigger now.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So I'm like constantly, like I said, my mind is like always going, and I see more potential. Like even just going out somewhere, I'm like, oh, we could have totally done something there. Or, you know, even going to little events, oh, we could have done something there too. Like it's even evolved. Like the girls at first, they were just like my little cigarette girls to go pass out fake, you know, like the gum cigarettes that they used to have with the business card. And then they got hired to do an event. And I'm like, oh, there we go. We could do this. And, you know, we did that. The photography, we've got hired. We've been asked to do, well, we have in the past to do like a little vintage photo booth. So we've done that aspect. So I think it's growing in ways that I didn't really think of because I was so much concentrating on this, but I'm letting the business evolve on its own though too.
Organically.
So I still kind of hold the reins and be like, okay, we'll see where it goes. But just because of my control issues, but but cool. I'm learning.
It's cool you have an open mind enough to see what's coming down the pipeline and capitalize on it.
Yeah. But I still, of course, always keep the vintage vibe. That's very important to me because I've had people, you know, say, will you, you know, do my wedding? Will you do this? Will you do headshots? And I'm like, I would really like to, and I'm sure it's easy money, but that's not where my heart is at all. So I'm honest with them. I tell them, you know, that's not something that we're interested in, but here's somebody that might do it for you.
Sure.
But, you know, they usually come back and be like, well, you wouldn't, this, you know, didn't kind of like go with your business, but I would really like for you to do my pictures like this. So
right.
So even like after the weddings, I have like husband and wives do like their vintage portraits or, you know, even like their child, but I always stick to the vintage vibe.
You got to comment on our pictures. I want to know what you think about it now.
No.
Yeah, I want you to like really dig in deep. Like, no.
But
they would never wear
this
right? in the 1920s, you know? I don't know. I think that'd be pretty cool.
I do that all the time, though. That's what I'm like, because even when we put together photo shoots, I'm like, okay, I give them like a whole little scenario, and they're like, okay, and I'm like, yeah, that's just think of that, and it will make a big difference. So yeah,
does it drive you crazy when someone's all decked out and then they pull out a phone out of their? Does it just throw off the whole vibe?
No, that's not a big deal.
You're like, wait, never would happen. Oh, okay. So you said that you see this business getting bigger. So what do you see that we don't see yet?
I definitely want to have my own line in other retail establishments, and that is something that I guess I've kind of always had. That was kind of the reason I taught myself to sew,
right?
And just kind of decided like to go to school and stuff like that for it. So that is something. There's a big pinup girl clothing is what they're called, and that's how she started. She started just out of her basement, just kind of sewing like vintage inspired clothing, and then it kind of grew from there.
Right. But starting your own brand.
Starting my own brand.
Right.
So just Bertie's, and just whether I name it that or not, for now that's what I am. That's what I have on my labels. But like in the future, like I definitely I see like whether I was thinking of starting with just skirts, even though it's something so simple, but like just circle skirts, really simple,
right.
Pockets. For some reason, women with pockets in their dress or skirt, it's amazing.
Yeah.
It's like, I don't know what it is. It's like, I love it.
And efficient.
But guys stuff all has pockets.
Yeah, we're like, you guys see me with shorts. Like, I'm decked out in pockets.
Yeah,
it just makes sense. It's
and girls, they don't have that. We're supposed to be proper,
true.
have our little purse. But like pockets, especially nowadays, you stick your cell phone in, your keys in the other, you're done. You're ready to go. So yeah. So just like little things like that I think it's still vintage kind of style, but it has little aspects of contemporary that go really, really well, and like help just to improve it.
Yeah. So would you keep the Bertie's name?
Oh, it's my name. I have to keep it.
Yeah. Not on you.
Oh, okay. I'm like, you're making me change my name now?
Oh my gosh. Listen to this guy, right? Like, before you leave here, make sure you change your name.
Change that name.
Yeah. No, for the clothing brand. Would you keep it?
I like it because it's vintage. It's vintage sounding,
like
and it's also my mom's name.
Yeah.
So.
I think, and it's got a great ring. I mean, because, before you said, hey, Bertie's, look at me. It's not how I'm trying to come across.
Yeah.
I don't think it does at all. I think that is a great name for a vintage.
Thank you.
Vintage line for sure.
And it was funny because I thought when I was first going to open the shop, I thought oh, what do I name it? And I had all these ideas. And then my brother actually was like, why don't you just name it after you? And I was like, no, I'm not going to do that. And he was like, no, really, just name it after you. And I was like, like the more and more that it sank in, I thought of it, and I was like, it just sounds right. It just sounds like that's exactly, like he was right. That's exactly what it was supposed to be.
Yeah.
Supposed to do. So yeah, like you said, like people remember it, like they understand it. It's not too like, oh my gosh, like too much.
Yeah.
Or anything like that.
And I don't think it's hard to tie your vision into Bertie's. Like you say Bertie's and then you say retro or vintage, I'm like, oh, well, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Like it's an easy name to tie.
It is, into. Right?
Yeah.
And then before, like you said, I didn't think about it. I was like, no way. Like that sounds so vain. I'm not going to name it after myself. So yeah, but definitely because it is its own thing. And like I said, it's growing into its own, whether I'm there or not. So
is the Bel Air going to have your name on it and your logo?
Probably.
That'd be cool.
Probably, definitely. Some nice sparkle on the side.
Yeah. Are you going to paint it or are you going to keep it that, what do they call it? Where it's rusty. Patina. You're going to get.
I do love it, patina.
Me too.
I love it.
Agreed. 100%.
I would be so scared if it was so perfect. I'd be like, I don't know.
Couldn't agree with you more.
No, I love it. I'm like, just, seal it to make it look good. So, it doesn't rust anymore or anything like that, and just leave it the way it is.
Do you like hot rods?
Yes, they do.
Yeah. There's a guy in my neighborhood that has a hot rod. Love it.
And every time you probably drive by it or hear it, it's like,
oh yeah. And you got to be careful because people park on the side of the road. And if you're looking, you're you got to make sure it's not out, and you have to be paying attention to the road. But I love that too. So what else do you see coming down the pipeline for you, or something we should be looking out for?
Probably as far as events or just in general with the business.
With the business.
Definitely expand to where, like I said, having my own line. I definitely want to do that. Having the bomb shows, do more. We've been kind of getting together, having little meetings on what more that we want to do.
Oh, that's so cool. You're giving them buy-in on that.
Yes. No, definitely. We have meetings to where we all kind of go together. I even kind of if I have an idea, I'm like, okay, what do you think about this? This is what I was thinking. And they kind of give me some of their feedback too. So it is really kind of, it's a community. That's what I'm saying. Like the whole Rockabilly is a community. Like we help each other out like as much as we can. So whether it's their time, their input, anything like that, then.
What have you seen come from that? Because I know there's business owners that listen to this podcast and maybe in their mindset, they believe that they have all the best ideas and they don't really share or collaborate with their team. Or if they do, they don't really listen to them, right? What would you tell that business owner? Because you're doing that, like you're collaborating, you're hearing their ideas. And what would you tell that person?
No, it's definitely because I think as a business owner, we get tunnel vision on one thing that we want to get done. And so there's not saying that you shouldn't keep your eye on exactly what you want, but there's so many opportunities that can come from it that will end up helping to get to that point that you want. I mean, I know like the whole business is really going through all of it, like not necessarily even like whether people want to sell the business later or do whatever, but whatever their goal is, like it's all the fun, like in between all the ups and downs and trying something, seeing if it doesn't work. Okay, I'm going to try something else. So, and getting other people's input. It's like sometimes everybody has, of course, like their own experiences. And sometimes those experiences will help to kind of, I guess, put you in a direction that you didn't necessarily think you were going to go. And I really, really appreciate the girls because, like I said, like, owning a business, sometimes you feel awesome. Like, yeah, I'm doing everything right. Everything's great. And you're like feeling up there. And then there's other days like, what was I thinking? Like, I wanted to eat a steak today, like, just like different, something will happen that, a day before, like we opened, some like skater guy leaned up against the window and there goes the big window, huge crack in it. And I was like, no, not now. Really? I'm sure it was an accident or whatever, but it's just there's just so many things that will come up in business that you don't expect. And rather than being down and being like, oh my gosh, this is my luck, this is horrible. Like, I don't take it like that. I'm like, okay, it just has to get done. This is what it needs. Hey, I get a new window. I'm like, woohoo. And I just feel there's so many ups and downs. And if you let it will get to you. Yeah. Because it's a lifestyle that you're choosing. I mean, it would be much easier just to go and get a job and get that paycheck and come home and not even have to worry about it. Like, that's it. It's 6:00. I'm done. Yeah. Go home to my kids. But it's something, as a business owner, you're constantly thinking of how to improve, how to change, how to figure this out, or just in case this happens, I need to have a backup plan for this.
Right. And it's cool that you have a circle where it's not just your head thinking about all of this. You have all these other heads that with their different ideas and that may see an angle where it could go wrong that you would have never seen. Exactly.
And of course, it's happened before where there's like something that I just didn't think of. And, I have Minda coming in and be like, well, what about this? Have you ever thought about, doing collabing with this? Or I know a girl who does this. And they're constantly pushing the business on their own too. So it's not just me. And then, when people come in, I talk with them, whether they buy something or not. I like hearing about people's stories and, I have people coming in and just showing me pictures of their grandma when they were old, and I think that's really cool. I have that and they go and tell somebody else, oh, hey, there's this vintage place over here. And so just, word of mouth, different ideas. So it's pretty neat how everything just kind of works.
Yeah. I mean, you're building a pretty cool culture where I feel like some of the listeners, definitely me, and this is what I'm saying, like, I want my family involved.
Yeah, see?
With your culture.
It's awesome.
I've not even been around it. It's just how you talk about it, the passion you have, the way that you talk about it, the people that are involved, the way that you guys think, the way that you guys act. Why wouldn't you want to surround yourself with people like that?
Yeah. It's like I said, it's really helpful not only like in business but just in life in general. Yeah. Like just surrounding yourself by positive people. Like I said, we're not always positive. Sometimes we have our down days just like everybody else, but we have each other to pick each other up. So we're one big happy family, pretty much. Somebody needs something. Hey, oh no, I have this that I have to do. Can you take care of my kid? Yes, of course, we help each other out.
Yeah, we're getting involved then.
Babysitter.
Yeah. No, That's so funny. And I think, I mean, with my wife being into vintage and stuff, I mean, I think like it'd just be a really cool thing to be a part of. So.
Yeah, no, definitely. We should talk and try to, I'm sure we can come up with something fun to do.
Yeah. Because that's her passion too, and like she always finds herself, you see her house, like she lives with it, and I'm cool with it because that's like my style too. And there's a home feel to it. So I don't know.
See, that's so good that you're into it though too. I think that's really, really important.
It was like we both clicked for the 1920s wedding.
That's so nice.
Yeah,
See?
it was like, heck yeah.
Yeah, like you know it already. Yep. Like it's not even second guessing that.
Yeah. No, that's really cool. So did you, and I'm going to jump on two things. I'm going to ask you a few questions.
Okay.
And we're good to go. Did you see the picture I took of your establishment?
Yes, with the car. Yes. I shared that too because I was like, "Oh, that's so awesome!"
It's my backdrop to my phone.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yep. So I was.
See, it's so perfect though, right? The building, the way it's situated, the sign on top. That's why I'm like, I saw that when I was like, I love that. I love that area. That's like perfect. I see it already.
It's too cool. I'm going to show the camera, so you better go to YouTube and subscribe. Okay. And you can go to Instagram on both of ours and check it out as well. But yeah, I was leaving LeClaire's General Store, and that guy jumped into that car, and I was like, oh, this is too cool. And I hurried up and snapped a picture, and then he was gone.
Yes.
So it was only a split second.
Oh, that's so perfect.
Yeah.
And that's the cool thing. A lot of guys will just come by and be like, hey, I wanted to show you my car. No. And they just come in, they talk, because we have guy stuff too.
How cool is that?
We have guy stuff, like we have pomade, we have beer oil, we have, like we do a lot of Suavecito stuff, which is from Cali, but we do a lot of the greaser guys know about it. Even like a lot of the military guys, they use that too. We have bowling shirts, we have stuff from Sullen, we have stuff from just like different little places here and there.
Yeah.
So we have guy stuff, we have girl stuff, and then we have stuff for kids too.
Gotcha.
So it's a variety.
Yeah, I'm going to have to go in there.
Yeah, you should come in.
I'm going to have to go in there and check it out. I've always, it's kind of like those people who you said kind of walk into your store and they're just like, I've been meaning to walk in here, and they live down the street.
Yeah, exactly.
Same feeling. Like, I love the outside look. I love, because I've seen even, you guys taking pictures outside.
Yeah, we're always. I'm sure the neighbors are always like, "What are they doing?"
It's a cool flavor. Well, if I was a neighbor, I'd be like, "Look at where we live. How cool is this?" But that, and then this guy in the car, I was like, it's just always one of those things. Like, I gotta stop by there.
Yeah,
I definitely gotta stop by there.
Yeah,
for sure.
No, we have some cool art on the walls, and like I said, there's a little bit of everything for everyone. I love it when like they come by with their cars. I had a guy that came by with a car, like a hot rod that looked kind of like a hearse too, and he had like the fake, on
got
top.
Rat. Yep, I know which one you're talking about.
They had rat fink on. He had the rat fink on there, which is really, really iconic. He just had it like all decked out, and he just came by just to say hi. I had another guy just come by and like, you have to drive my car. I'm like, I think I do too.
Yeah.
So let's close up the shop.
Did you drive it?
Oh yeah.
Did you?
I wasn't gonna like say, oh no, it's okay.
Yeah, no, I love that.
I was like, that's right.
That's so cool. Is that what inspired you to get a Bel Air, or did you already have it?
No, my dad had one. Yeah.
Oh.
He had one a long time ago, and then they sold it, and then he got another one. That's what he's working on right now. So, and that's what my mom and my dad are always like, the 55. We have to work on the 55. So it's just kind of always like been ingrained in my head.
Yeah. For the people who stop by with their cars, do you have them take a picture with you, tag your place, all that good stuff?
I either take the picture, they take the picture, or a lot of times, the bombshells are there hanging out, and I'm like, there we go, perfect photo op. So
that's so cool.
So it's pretty. Even when we had our grand opening, we had a guy named Ron who has a vintage Jeep, and it's all decked out with the machine gun on top, everything, like huge like antenna. So we had him at the grand opening, which people were just stopping by like crazy, like, yes, what kind of car is there now? Yeah.
What event do you have coming up next?
The next event we have at the end of the month, we're gonna have a Christmas in July. So we're gonna have a lot of things that are on sale. We're going to have a lot of things on sale. We have the bombshells there, just kind of taking pictures, hanging out, dressed up in their little cigarette girl outfits, passing out little candy cigarettes and gum cigarettes and stuff.
Oh, that's going to be cool.
Yeah, so it's a lot of fun. We always, ask for people if anybody wants to bring their classic cars by and just kind of hang out in front. And we get motorcycle guys, too, just coming out and hanging out. Like I said, I'm not sure how the neighbors love it, but we love it.
Sounds like you're getting... you haven't had anyone shake their fist at you, right? Like, get out of here.
Well, we had the happenings in Haymount, and that one was, I think there was a good and bad, I guess, towards it. So a lot of people didn't like the traffic slowing down and stuff. But overall, it went really, really well. Yeah, it was a lot of fun. There was tons of people coming in.
Yep.
So I really enjoyed it. So.
Me too.
Yeah.
Me too. And I think that's the new flavor coming into Fayetteville, and just like, this is what we need.
Mm-hmm, exactly. There was bike lanes and everything. People, there was art, there was music. It was like everything that you like, and you want to go just hang out and spend time with your family on that day and just walk around and enjoy.
It was really, really cool. They ran out of food quick.
I know, they did.
They were like, God, I didn't realize so many people would show up.
I know.
And that shows like that's what we need.
Exactly. Yes. No. Exactly. That's why I also really like LeClaire's being there, because it is. The crowd, we go back and forth. I send people over there. Oh, you haven't been there? You got to go there. And Patrick is really nice. He sends people over my way too. So, we're always just trying to help out the area. The running room also does like the same thing too. So they're always sending people. They have a sock hop coming. They have a run coming up next month too. Oh, okay. And so we're going to go set up a booth, and, they have like a 50s theme for their runs too. So they send people, just, there's a lot of stuff. We also work with the roller derby. And so we gave them, we donated a package. So if anybody's looking to do a photo shoot,
oh, cool.
The roller derby is going to, raffle one off so they can do it through there too. So
that's awesome. We got a lot of stuff coming up.
It is. It's a lot of fun. We kind of try to keep busy.
So 2 more questions on your tattoos.
Okay.
Because I have tattoos too. You just can't see them. So I'm wearing long sleeves. What's the newest tattoo you have?
It was Exploited Tattoo.
Oh, okay.
It's a old punk band from like the 80s. So
is that a punk band you listened to back in the 80s?
Yes.
Yeah.
Definitely. Yeah. He has a huge mohawk. So
yeah. What's your best? What's the most memorable memory that pops up when you think about that band? Oh,
being in high school.
Yeah?
Yeah, being in high school, just hanging out with my friends and going to shows.
Yeah?
So, yeah.
You still connect with that?
Oh, yeah.
No,
people? Definitely.
Yeah? That's cool.
And once again, it's like I loved everything about it. I love the community that is that little punk rock community where I grew up. And then I liked the outfits too. I think it like said a lot. And you knew like if somebody dressed a certain way, oh, they listen to that music. Right. Not so much now, but like back then it was like, you had colored hair. Like this hair in 7th grade, I got in trouble. Like they wouldn't even let me go in school. I had to wear a wig and couldn't cross stage. Really? Yeah, it was back
couldn't
then.
Cross stage?
Yeah, I couldn't.
Did you run across stage like? I'll cross.
Well, my mom came to argue, so.
Yeah.
But like nowadays, like the blue hair and even just having different color hair, the clothing, like they back then they didn't let you. They would make fun of you. Like I got made fun of a lot for my clothes.
Yeah.
But that's how I'm
now who's laughing? Business
I know,
owner
right?
in Fayetteville. Very cool. Where was I going to go? Oh, so I listened to, I grew up with a bunch of friends who were into skating, BMX, and then later in the cars. And what we listened to is Pennywise. Is that?
Yeah, definitely.
Okay, good.
Yes.
MXPX?
Uh-huh.
Okay, good. All right. I didn't know if they were too soft.
No.
Okay.
Well, that's what they're saying. It's like a variety. I know like there's like pop punk and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And people are like, no, you can't listen to that.
Yeah.
So the unwritten rule.
Oh, I'll drum because I used to play the drums and I would drum while I'm driving sometimes, and I probably shouldn't have even said that. I will.
Right? I know, because it makes you feel like I don't know. It's just it gives you confidence. It makes you feel good. It makes you feel powerful. Yep. Like I love the music.
Yep.
So.
And the CD I got, a CD. I wonder how many people just go, what the heck is that?
Well, you didn't say tape, so that might be all right.
Hey, so many memories with tapes.
The pencil.
The pencil. Or when we used to record songs off the radio to make our own mixtapes on the tape.
Oh, yes.
But we would DJ, so we would slowly, like barely press pause.
Oh.
And it would slow down the tape, but it would record that slowdown like, yeah.
Oh, you're much better than me.
Oh, yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah, we had to make it work. But I got a MXPX CD in the Jeep, and No curse words, not on this CD. And so my daughter gets down too.
Oh, see, there you go.
Yeah, she loves it. She loves it.
It makes you happy, right?
Yep. And then we'll put nieces, nephews in there, and they're like,
I know.
They're like going nuts. So
that's how my older kids are like. They know like a lot of the music and stuff. And of course, I have to be like really careful because they say bad words. So I was like, oh no, okay, we can't listen to that anymore. Or like the shirts that I was wearing, like once they started reading, I was like, oh, there goes that shirt. There goes that shirt.
Welcome to parenthood.
Exactly.
Like, gosh. But hey, you find some of those Rockstar CDs where you still listen to it, enjoy it. And,
exactly.
All right. So what's the tattoo that means the most to you that you have on?
Uh-oh.
No,
it's this one that she drew. It was the very first one that she drew. I ended up getting, and I have that one for her, and then I have one for my daughter, and then one for my son.
Gotcha. All right. So, how old was she when she drew that? And did she have the hand on the tattoo gun?
No.
Oh, she just drew it on paper?
No, she just drew it on paper, and then the tattoo artist did it. So, she was probably maybe 1.5 or 2. And it was the very first one that actually looked like something.
Oh.
So I was
do you know who is it?
That's me.
Oh, okay.
Doesn't it? You couldn't tell.
I see it. I just wanted to make sure.
You just want to make sure, right? Okay.
I totally see it. Yeah. No. Yeah. There's without the red hair, it was a little
See,
hard.
that's what it was throwing you off, right?
Yeah,
I used to have black hair. That's
smiling,
why.
so that's definitely you.
Yeah.
All right. So the second one, it looks like a verse.
Yes, it was. Well, we went through like a really hard time for like a period in my life, and so this was her telling me, I guess, kind of how she felt about the whole thing. And so it was, of course, you know, when you go through like a negative situation, and it kind of always brings people closer together. Well, usually, not all the time, but like usually, and that's what it did for us. And so that was her verse to me, just kind of thanking me for everything that I've done for her, like teaching her right from wrong, and always telling her that there's always a good side to everything. So and so that kind of, I guess, helped her heal by writing that. Right.
So is that is it a poem, or is it like, oh, is it?
Mm-hmm. It was something that she wrote, just kind of thank you for inspiring me, for being there for me, for birthing me, for raising me. What else?
How old was she when she did that?
She was, I believe she was 11.
11?
Mm-hmm. Now she's 22, so.
Wow. What is she doing?
She just graduated from the University of Denver.
Oh, cool.
So, yeah.
What is she doing?
Now she's looking for a job. Because she just graduated 2 months ago is when we went to her graduation. So.
Oh, cool.
But she graduated, so I'm happy.
Yeah. I like the tattoo too, because it from this angle, and correct me if I'm wrong, it looks like the bind to the notebook.
Yes, that's exactly.
It's cool.
And so I faced it to me because it's more for me than for anybody else.
Yeah, no doubt. So the third one looks like a straight razor.
With a fork.
With a fork. Straight razor with a fork.
That was for my
steak
son.
You were talking about. Going,
exactly. My son loves to eat, and he's been.
Of course.
It's but it's like he like really loved it ever since he was like really little. Like the baby food wasn't enough for him. Like everything like revolves around food. Like he's like, don't share my food. Yeah. He's broken up with girls. If they pick at his food, he's like, whoa,
Done.
whoa.
I didn't
like,
tell
what are you doing there?
Can't do that. Done. Yeah.
Exactly. So his whole world kind of revolves.
What's his favorite dish?
Food. He likes Italian.
Yeah?
Yeah. I don't know if necessarily he has a favorite one, but he's really good at like making sauces and just as long as it's food. Yeah.
There's a bottle opener. It looks like, is that the other side of the fork? Or a can opener? No,
that's just what it just clicks on
at the bottom of the fork. Is that like can opener?
Yes, right there.
Oh, can opener, not a bottle opener. It's like, it's a can opener. Got it. And so the razor blades.
So that was just more just kind of for fun because he's a, gosh, he's like huge. He's like almost 6 feet tall. He's like a big boy. Yeah. But he's a mama's boy.
Oh, yeah?
Yes, and I would like to say that again.
He's like,
he is a mama's boy.
Why? So I'm going to spit off a few other questions to you, and then we are going to wrap it up.
Alrighty.
Let me go to it. I just had it up. I feel guilty pulling up my phone right now. I'm just
saying.
Oh,
no. I didn't mean for you to feel guilty. I just mean like the table, especially the table, like the dinner table, to me is so important. And it doesn't take that long just to kind of like everybody sit at the dinner table.
Yeah.
How was your day? How was your day? Just little things like that I think bring people together.
No doubt. I think one of the things, so having a lot going on in my world, even in the past, one thing that's really helped me out is being super, and people who know me are going to already know what I'm going to say, but being super prioritized and putting everything on a calendar, even my family.
Yes.
So from whatever time to whatever time, my family's blocked in.
That's good.
Right? Or the wife, she says, hey, date night that
Exactly.
day.
I was going to say that. Yes.
Yep. And that's so, and by the way, anybody I'm coaching, that's the first thing we block in is family first and then business later.
Yes.
But you feel fine leaving your phone upside down, and this thing is always on silent. It doesn't even vibrate, and it's been like that for years.
Oh, okay.
Because I know what I'm doing at a certain time, and that's my one thing. And so my family, my wife, my kids, my whatever it is, you're my one thing during this time, and I know that because my calendar says so.
Yes.
So this is easy to do, is drop down your phone.
It is. But I think like other people, like I said, get so caught up. But it's so important. It really is. And if family's not doing well, guess what? That kind of goes into your business. And it starts affecting everything. Yeah, it does. Whether you want to or not, or you're like, no, you know what? I'm going to leave that at home. But it doesn't. Like, I feel like it's always there because it's so important, like your family. So it's the whole reason really that you do your business and everything else to try to make life better so that you can enjoy it together.
Yep. Agreed. I agree with you 100%. All right. Do you have a favorite failure that you believe has set you up for the success you've seen?
Yes. I had a girl back home taking my photos and using them, and I was not happy. I was ready to just give up and just be like, you know what, I'm done. Really? And I was almost to the point where I wasn't going to do it. I was like, that's it. Like, I'm so tired of this. Like, it was a lot of ups and downs over there. And then I just decided, like, okay, that's it. Like, you know what? No, this is what I want to do. I love doing it. I'm doing it because I do love it. And the other people that were trying, I guess, to kind of take me down and pulling me to fail to where I wasn't doing anything really. I was just like kind of going through the motions of life, but not really doing much. Yeah. So because of that, then I just kind of put my foot down and was like, no, you know what? You're not going to tell me what I can and cannot do with my life. And so I just took it from there and just decided to do my own thing. And I know it's hard not to see what other people are doing. Like, you try to like just kind of keep it, because I think it's just human nature to compare yourself. Yeah. And so it just got to the point where I was just like, no, that's it. I'm just going to do me, do what I want to do, and take it from there. Yeah. So you learned a lot from that. A lot. Yeah. And even now, like, you know, when I start to get kind of like, you know, this person's taking this person, you know, this thing from me. Well, I feel like it's from that. Then I just kind of go back and think, like, I feel it's very important to just kind of remember your downfalls to kind of help you stay up where you are. Yeah. Well, good for you. Thank you. For not just laying down. Yeah, well, I was really close to it. I was like, you know what, like, I'm done, and like, this is just ridiculous. So I ended up changing little aspects of my business and just decided to go full force and just kind of concentrate and be like, no, I'm not gonna let other people tell me what I can and can't do. Yeah. Because that was like another reason that I did start my business. I was like, I'm letting people tell me when I can see my kids. I'm letting people tell me when I can do this and that. Yep. And like, in my mind, that just wasn't right. Like, it just doesn't seem right. It's not. I know. Working at UPS, people were getting fired for going to see their kid play soccer or something like that. You know, I mean, there was no remorse. I know. Right? And watching that, I was with UPS for 12 years, watching that. Wow. I was like, there's got to be a better way. Exactly. This can't be it. So I agree with you on that. And your kids like looking for you too. Like, they want to know, like, oh, you know, where's my family? Like, I'm so proud I did this. And then they look and there's nobody to see them. Yep. And that right there, that breaks my heart. Yeah. I'm just like, oh. Yeah, maybe you should think about that and like sit in that world for a little while. And is it worth jumping? Exactly. And some people are okay with that. Like, I understand that. Sure. And of course we need people like that too. Yeah. Like, to work. But like, you know, just for me personally, I couldn't do it. Yep. I had enough. I had tried doing I worked all sorts of different jobs before, just trying, and I kept on getting bored, changing every 3 years because I'm like, no, this is not for me.
Glad you did. Glad you got bored.
I did.
We wouldn't be sitting here talking about your business. All right. So, what profession other than your own would be fun to? She broke it.
Oh my gosh!
It's broken. It's okay. It's all good. No. Seriously, it's good. Seriously, it is all good. It's all good. Believe me. And it sounded really bad because there's like these little plastic things on the ground. So it like bounced and like moved
Well, we didn't
around.
get it on camera though, so I think we're okay.
Oh, so by the way, what happened?
Oh, no.
It's all good. Seriously, we're good. We have so many kids that run in and out of this office. It's all good.
Oh my God.
And dogs. We have a lot of kids and dogs, so it's all good. Seriously. Okay. What?
Sorry about that. Go ahead.
She was like, "What?" Yep. Karate chop. And she chose like the sharpest one.
I know, right?
Like,
she's not afraid.
Yeah. Awesome. All right. What profession other than your own would be fun to attempt?
Archaeology.
Archaeology, really?
Yes, love it.
Well, okay.
Yeah.
Tell me more.
I took a couple classes. I was actually going to go into that. But then I realized I can't dress up. I looked at all the archaeologists, I was like, I have to wear that all day. That really was one of the deciding factors.
Well,
but I love history, like just in general and stuff. So
yeah,
I mean, whether it's movies, clothing, like just history in general, and archaeology, I think you can learn so much about our past or just how people did things. To me, it's fascinating.
Yeah,
and like the way that they figured stuff out too, and so. Definitely archaeology. Yeah,
it's super interesting to figure out or to see how they figured things out without the technology that we have today.
Exactly.
It made it work, and it's still standing.
It's still standing. I know, and we think we're superior now.
You ain't nothing.
I know.
Yeah. No, that's super cool. What? Because you said movies too. That you say like old movies. What old movie resonates with you? The one that you love, like what old movie? Oh
gosh. There's so many because I would just my mother and I would just sit and watch old movies and comment on what they're wearing or the way it was decorated in the back. I mean, I can't even say one specific one because there's so many that I get. And even finding out the background from different actresses, I think is interesting too, and why they did what they did and the way that they overcame certain things, the way the studios used to make them evolve to how they look. Like they would approve every single photo that they would come out with. Like if it was a bad photo, they definitely wouldn't let it go out. If they were pregnant, they would hide that a lot of the times. They would have to just kind of stand there, like in between, so that
behind
they wouldn't
the couch.
Get. Exactly.
Yeah. What about show? An older show, not necessarily a movie.
Well, just shows that make me happy, or like Happy Days and stuff.
Happy Days?
They're funny.
Yeah.
I like all those little old kind of quirky little shows, and Mork and Mindy. I don't know why.
Yeah.
I love that show too.
Yeah. I had to, and I never watched an episode in my whole life before marrying my wife, and she is a huge fan. Oh my gosh, the name just escaped me. Blonde, funny. Her name is the show.
Not the I Love Lucy.
I Love Lucy.
Okay, yes.
Yeah. Golly.
That's another one too.
Yeah.
It's so fun watching them. And
I've seen every episode.
Yeah.
And it's hilarious.
It's good, right?
It's mad good. It's
it
really good.
Is good without getting like nowadays I feel a lot of the shows that they either get either too perverted or they say too many bad words. And so it's just a good wholesome show.
Yep.
Like it's funny. I mean, a lot of things they come up with and
her face.
And her face is
like
yes,
her
I know.
And his expressions, they're so freaking funny.
And the fact that they were really married like that to me is like a whole different thing too. Like looking at it from that aspect too.
Yep. That's what she loves about it too. She goes deep into that stuff. Okay. Purchases of less than $100 that have most improved your life.
Mine are more like fines, like library fines.
Oh, well, that's interesting. You're the first to say that. So library fines?
I figure that's the way I support the library system.
That's so funny. So, okay.
But that's the one, like, I feel like I've learned so much. Like, I feel like I have a whole other degree just from the library. Just from all the books that I'll go in and get and business books, fashion books. I mean, any kind of book biographies. I love reading biographies, people's background stories and stuff. So
which one had the largest fine? Which book did you have the longest?
Well, if I really love the book, I end up buying it so I can scribble in it and write and highlight. Like I like to have the book. I'm not much of a, on my phone or anything like that. Like I like to make doodles because then I go back and I like reread it and look at it. The one that I always go back and reread is like E-Myth.
E-Myth, yeah.
The Rich Dad Poor Dad I've read several times.
Yep.
I mean, there's just so many little ones here and there. What is it, Millionaire Next Door, the Millionaire Mom, like all those. Like I got them from the library, but if I know that they really like resonated with me, I end up just buying them and scribbling all over them, highlighting them, and going back every now and then. What
book are you in now?
Right now I'm listening to. It's actually really funny. I found it like at like a thrift store or something, but it's the Mary Kay book. And it's just how she started off and all the trials and tribulations that she had to go through just to get her business up and going. And, especially back then, like back when she started, women weren't supposed to be like that.
Yeah.
They're just supposed to stay home and cook and clean, and that's it. And so I like her because she's still here. Like her business is still going strong.
Oh, yeah.
And she helped so many women get out of that role of just being a wife.
Right.
So it's if it's inspiring, and then you also look at everything that she went through. I mean, it's really interesting.
Yeah. That's interesting. I might have to look that one up.
I know. It's like a book that you wouldn't think of, but I just kind of found it. I'm like, oh, that's one I haven't read. Like, I'll do that one. There's that one. I read some of, I think it's called The Glitter Squad or The Glitter Glam or something like that, something with glitter. And it was two girls that had started a business too from scratch, and everything that they had to go through and stuff. So
yeah.
I guess the underdog stories the most.
Yeah, no doubt. Yeah. Well, I mean, because everyone sees the glitz and glamour of something, and that's how they think it
is all the time.
And then to know where they came from, what it took, the sleepless nights, what they lost, what they gave up, like to know that story gives.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And it's really funny. I had someone tell that I guess they thought small businesses, like, that they're all rich. Like, well, how did they have the money to start? Like, they have to have money to begin with. And I was like, no, like, people who own small business, it's the opposite.
Yeah.
Because you're putting everything, like, a lot of business, including myself, everything I make from the business goes straight back in there, there. So, and then you have to kind of figure out, okay, what do I really want to spend money on? What do I don't? Is this going to be worth it? Even with marketing, like, you're always kind of trying little things here and there to figure stuff out. So
yeah.
I think people's perspective of what it is definitely very different. Like, they think, like you said, like, it's all glitz and look, I dressed up today and you can buy this and that's it. But like, no, they don't see all the other stuff before and after, staying up late, trying to figure stuff out.
Yeah. And I wonder if people think about how much the dollar is cut down. So if someone buys something for $1, how much is that cut down? Meaning, like, all right, so how much is going to go to taxes? How much is going to go to the expenses of running this store? If you have salaried employees, how much of that, the dollar goes to that? How much are we pouring? What else, the marketing? What else are we pouring back into our business?
Exactly.
And then paying yourself, right? And then taking and that's gross. Now you got to pay taxes on that.
Yeah.
And then looking at the net amount. At the very end, you pull out your vintage glasses.
Exactly.
And you're like, oh, there it is. I mean, it's just.
It is. And people don't see that. They just see that, oh, look, cool cars, a couple of cool things here and there. Yeah. But I wouldn't have it any other way. And I love it.
I agree.
I really, really love it.
Yep. And you'll never go back.
No, not at all.
Yep. I agree. All right. Since I've kind of peppered you with questions, what question do you have for me?
I think you've talked to a lot of other business owners, especially in the area.
Yeah.
How do you see Fayetteville thriving in the future as far as businesses?
Small business? I'm seeing it, for the most part, I'm seeing it a lot more family-oriented, a lot more, meaning everyone who comes in the store, it seems like people are knowing their whole story, right? It's not just this crowd of people who come in and you never see them again. I think we're going back down to the roots, and where everyone knows each other, everyone's helping out each other's small businesses. I mean, I think this thing is going to take off. I've not seen the energy. So I've been here since kindergarten.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and I've not seen the energy before that I've seen now in small business, especially in the Haymount area in downtown.
That's awesome.
Yep. And so I'm like, life of abundant, I guess, mindset.
Yeah.
This thing's going to blow up. And I think it's going to blow. I was just talking to someone about this. I think it's going to blow up in a way where we don't get caught into the big city look or the big, like, people are walking by each other on the streets and they're not even acknowledging each other because there's so many darn people. I think this thing is going to blow up, but blow up in a way where everyone still knows each other, loves each other. When you walk in, they know their name and like, hey, what happened yesterday?
Yeah,
exactly. You know, like everyone knows each other's story. So I think it's going to blow up in a good way, a very organic way, that down home feeling.
Yes.
That's what I think.
And I love that. Yeah. That's definitely, and I love knowing and meeting a lot of different other small businesses, and it is always very welcoming. It's not like competition. Please get away from me. Yes.
Yeah.
It always is very like, what can we do for each other? How can we make all this better? Which I love. And I appreciate it, especially being new to the area. Yeah. Which is really, really, really nice. Yeah. And I love that small hometown feeling because, I thought Chicago was going to be too much for me. Yeah. And, right. I mean, San Antonio, it's nice. And like I said, I grew up there and stuff, but I like this small town.
So what do you tell a potential business owner that's looking at about 5 places? Well, we don't know their story, but let's say that this would be a good place for them. What would you tell them to kind of win them over to choose here to start that business?
They are going to be opening up the Haymount Grill is going to have retail shops next door, so
we need places to
fill.
So
we would like that.
Yeah. True. Love that.
No, I know. I'm excited about that too. But I guess it's just kind of, going back to there's going to be a lot of ups and downs, but if you really stick to something that you love and want to do, and I think it all comes back to wanting to help people. Yeah. Like really, I feel like that's most businesses, especially small businesses. That's what I love, that they're very customer oriented and they really do want to help you. Like you can come into my shop and you don't necessarily have to buy anything. You can come in and we just talk. Talk about, whatever. And I enjoy that. They enjoy that too. And everybody leaves happy. Everybody's good. So I think keeping that customer service and just enjoying and being very about the people, I think is really, really important. Yeah. Because everybody, wants to feel important, and everybody is important in their own way. So.
Yep. That's cool. What question do you have for the listeners?
Oh. I don't know.
Yeah. When you don't, you ask it. Oh, how would they answer it? So they, so this will go on YouTube. It'll go on Anchor, which will syndicate it to iTunes and like everything else. Also Instagram, LinkedIn, Facebook. I think I said that. Maybe not, but Facebook, Snapchat. So
there's a few different ways.
Oh, it's going to be blasted out. If you didn't want your stuff out there, wrong person. We're going to shoot it out. So if they have any questions, or excuse me, if they have the answer to your question.
I think it's most, I guess for me, it's what they feel as far as an experience when they go into a boutique or a shop. Because I'm always interested in like why people go into certain shops. Because I have, even though like my target is like it's 25 to 38, like around there, like 40. I have people from all different ages. I have older ladies who come in and buy like the vintage stuff. So I'm just always kind of curious on what kind of draws them to a store and keeps on drawing them back.
Gotcha. So answer that question. Where do they find you?
They can find me on Facebook and Instagram, Bertie's Retro Boutique. Also my website, www.bertiesretroboutique.com or bertiesnc.com.
Got it. So you know where to answer that question.
Please do. I really would love to hear what people like and dislike just about, going into stores and what brings them back and stuff. So it's really interesting to me. I really enjoy it.
Yeah, and that'll help you out a ton too.
Yeah, that too.
Very cool. And if you like this podcast, please subscribe. Of course, we're going to have more people, more business owners, more people who think big that are going to be coming on the podcast. So please subscribe so you can be the first to know. And again, thank you so much for showing up today.
Thank you so much for having me.
You're welcome.